Sebastien Lecornu, who resigned as Prime Minister after less than a month on the job. We're going to go now to hear from the head of France Unbowed, Jean-Luc Melenchon. France Unbowed, of course, that far-left party here in France, a party that absolutely wants the President Emmanuel Macron to resign. Let's listen.
Merci d'avoir répondu à notre invitation. Elle nous permet de nous adresser directement par votre entremise à nos concitoyens.
Let me be able to speak through you to our citizens and to the French at a time which is unprecedented in the Fifth Republic. Three governments in just the space of 1 year. And this is after a president has been beaten at all the elections that have been held.
Plutôt qu'à l'addition de ces mésaventures, c'est au tableau général.
Adding to this, we have to think of how to go forward. This situation is the result of the impasse in which the Fifth Republic finds itself, when there is a contradiction between the legitimacy of an election result, and added to that, there is the incapacity of the President of the Republic to manage the situation. And the result is that there is a real confusion in people's minds, in the institutions as well, in economic and business sectors, and in other sectors as well, which makes the situation even worse. Therefore, to be able to respond to this particular moment, we have to look at the real issue. And that is, the President of the Republic does not have the legitimacy to continue to take decisions in these circumstances. He is at the source of the chaos by organizing anticipated elections, parliamentary elections, and did not wish to take on board the results. And therefore, since then, democracy is fragile. And this obviously will have an effect on the French people. The French people obviously goes through its expressions in institutions. And if these institutions do not respect the expressions of the people, then there is no belief in democracy. Now, of course, nobody had an absolute majority. But there was one group that was ahead of the others. And there seems to be a negation of this particular fact. And therefore, there are a minority taking decisions which are exactly the opposite of what the majority wanted.
Aucune prise en compte de ce qu'il signifiait. Rien comme réponse à la mobilisation spontanée du 10 septembre.
There has been no response to the spontaneous mobilizations of September. There are no responses to the expressions on the 2nd of October. And in each case, one felt that we were walking towards a presidential monarchy, which was not willing to budge.
C'est-à-dire en revenir au peuple. C'est-à-dire
and therefore, we should allow the people to decide again.
Dans les formes que notre démocratie parlementaire permet.
In the forms that are enabled, the institutional forms that are available to the people and which would allow for the destitution of the President of the Republic, as is foreseen and covered by the Constitution. This
Elle est
destitution
souhaitable et dès lors, elle doit être possible.
should therefore
Déjà,
be
elle est
possible.
demandée par 104 députés à l'Assemblée nationale.
It is being
C'est-à-dire
asked for by
la majorité
104
plus qu'absolue
parliamentarians
des élus
at
du
the
mouvement
Assembly.
populaire.
That is the
Mais
majority.
depuis, d'autres voix se sont élevées pour dire, quoi qu'on pense les uns les autres,
But
en
other voices have
définitive,
also
c'est
said,
par là que passe la réponse claire dont on a besoin.
whatever one's feelings may be, that is the clear
Et
change
c'est en effet
that is required.
telle qu'est la culture politique de notre peuple. À cette étape,
And
après
the
tout ce que nous
political
venons de vivre,
culture of our
la
country,
confusion qui règne,
after all these different
l'absurdité qu'il y
stages,
aurait à imaginer quelque
after the
combinaison que
confusion
ce soit,
and chaos,
reposant sur l'Assemblée nationale telle qu'elle est,
the
puisque
absurdities
tout a
that
été
have been
essayé sans succès.
heaped on
Notre
our people.
proposition à l'époque de nommer un Premier ministre issu du NFP, puis l'échec d'à peu près toutes les formations politiques de droite. Puisque tout a échoué, il faut donc en revenir à la décision du seul souverain que connaît ce pays, le peuple.
Everything
Le retour au peuple
actually failed. We
est
have
la
to
réponse
return
que les
to the
démocraties
people.
apportent lorsqu'elles se trouvent dans une impasse.
The only
Nous sommes
sovereign
dans
in this
une
country
impasse,
should be the
personne
people.
ne peut le nier.
We are in
Aussi
a
longtemps qu'on
impasse,
tardera à régler le
and
cœur
as
du
long
problème, tout ne
as
fera
we
qu'empirer et
dally,
s'aggraver. Plus on
the
imaginera
situation
des
will get worse.
combinaisons, des accords contre nature,
If we try to
pour
find all
parvenir à
sorts
je ne
of
sais quelle solution gouvernementale,
agreements
plus on
that go
aggravera la
against
crise.
nature, we
Aux
will
yeux
make
du
things
monde,
worse.
aux
And
yeux
therefore,
de tous ceux qui regardent à
things
cette
will
heure,
become worse
on a
for
besoin
all
d'une
those who
solution
are looking
claire,
at
nette,
what is
franche
going
et
on
massive,
in
pour
France. And
reprendre
therefore,
un
we need to
vocabulaire
have a
que vous
clear
connaissez.
cut,
En
straightforward
France, le peuple
solution
est et
in
doit
France.
rester son propre maître.
In France, the people
Et
have to remain their
quoi qu'il
own
arrive,
masters of their destiny,
nous autres,
whatever
qui
happens.
avons été élus
And all of
sur
us who
un
have
même
been
programme,
elected for
et
a
qui
single
devons
program, for
et
the
qui
same program,
siégeons pour l'essentiel et votons pour l'essentiel de la même manière au
and
fil
who
des
vote
discussions et des votes à l'Assemblée nationale.
generally in the
Notre
same way.
devoir,
Our
conformément au
duty,
mandat que nous avons reçu dans cette
in
élection
keeping with the
de
mandate that we
2024,
received
est
in the
de nous
2024
retrouver
election,
pour examiner tous les moyens qui nous
to
permettent
get back
de faire
together
face à la
and
nouvelle
find
situation.
all
Et en
the different
particulier,
means that are
quelle
possible
suite
to
comptons-nous
face
donner ensemble
this
à la
situation.
motion de destitution. Aussi longtemps que le président de la République ne se sera
As long
pas
as
exprimé, puisqu'il est
the president has not spoken,
le maître des événements.
because he is the master of all events
Il nous
here.
appartient de répondre à ce que nous voyons. Et ce que nous voyons appelle notre demande de sa démission ou de son départ
He
par un
should
vote des assemblées.
Respond
Et
to
ensuite,
what we are asking
nous verrons.
for,
Mais il
and
faut
that
le
is
faire
that he should
avec le sens
step
des
down.
responsabilités. Et quoi qu'il
And
ait
he
pu
should
se
do that
produire, de la
with
volonté
the
d'apporter
sense of
une
responsibility
réponse qui soit
and
une issue
with the
gouvernementale pour
aim
notre peuple et une
of
issue
finding
claire.
a solution
Bref, le peuple est
that
son
will
propre
enable
maître.
the governing
À
of
tous
this
ceux qui
country.
m'entendent, qui m'écoutent,
The people
je le
are the
rappelle,
masters of their
nous
own
nous
destiny.
sommes toujours,
And
nous
I would
autres
just like to
Français
say
tirés d'affaire, chaque fois que nous avons fait, sans barguigner, appel au peuple pour qu'il décide
that
lui-même de
once
ce qui
again,
doit être
one
fait.
must
Et
call
ce
on the
qu'il
people and
décidera
ask them to decide
sera la loi générale. Il n'y a donc
and
pas à avoir peur
see
du
how
vote populaire.
one can
Au
apply the
contraire,
general
il faut
law.
le solliciter en lui donnant les moyens de
We
prendre
must not
la
be afraid
décision jusqu'au bout.
of the expressions of the
pourquoi
people. We
nous
should
nous
give them
prononçons, comme je suis en train
and
de
give
le
the
faire,
people the
au nom
chance
de
to
tous les
express
camarades.
themselves.
Que chacun se dise qu'il est le maître de l'histoire de France. Il n'en est pas l'objet, il en est l'acteur. Chacun.
The
Tant et
people
si bien
are
que
the
je ne saurais
actors.
conclure à cet instant sans inviter chacun,
Each of us,
chacune,
therefore,
à prendre
contribute
sa part de
to the making
responsabilité.
of our
Qu'elle aille vérifier qu'il est correctement inscrit sur les listes électorales. Et s'il n'y est pas, qu'il y aille, parce que, d'une manière ou d'une autre, incessamment, le peuple français sera de nouveau convoqué à donner son avis.
Once again,
Il
the
faut
French
qu'on
people will
l'autorise,
be
il faut
called
qu'il lui
upon
soit permis d'aller au bout de
to
sa démarche.
express its
Voilà
opinion.
notre vœu à cette heure.
That
Aucune
is what we wish.
combinaison, aucune magouille,
no combination, no underhand deal, no discussions and negotiations on the tables or behind walls will in any way.
We've just been listening to the head of the far left, Jean-Luc Melenchon, there speaking. And we do apologize for that trouble with translation on that line there. But we have our Philip Turle, who was listening into that conversation, that discussion with me as well. And he's going to break it down for you. Philip, tell us a bit more about what Melenchon is saying and about this demand for not just new parliamentary elections, but a new presidential election.
OK, so first of all, Jean-Luc Melenchon was once a socialist. He was a former agriculture minister at the time of François Mitterrand during the 1980s. He broke away to form his own political party on the far left, which is called the France Unbowed, which he's now the president of. And he has also tried to run for president of France several times unsuccessfully, the last two times against Emmanuel Macron. The news is not very good for Jean-Luc Melenchon in the opinion polls right now. He's only credited with about 15% of favourable opinions, far behind the 30% of the National Rally of Marine Le Pen. But he has been calling for Emmanuel Macron to stand down since the elections of last year, the early legislative elections that went badly for Emmanuel Macron after the European elections of 2024. He's been saying since then that the president of France is no longer legitimate. He needs to stand down. There need to be more legislative elections and, of course, before that, a presidential election with a view to himself becoming president of France. That dialogue has not changed. It's been boosted by what we've seen over the past couple of hours or so, the announcement by Sebastien Lecornu, the outgoing Prime Minister, that he is resigning. That's opened the door to more political uncertainty here in France. That's something that Jean-Luc Melenchon has often thrived on. He's been saying that we are face-to-face with what he calls a presidential monarchy, not willing to budge, but we must let the people decide again. The destitution is covered by the Constitution. 104 MPs have already asked for it, the destitution of Emmanuel Macron. That is the clear change that is required. As the government has failed, we need to return to the people. If we don't, it will get worse. We've always overcome problems in France by asking the people to vote. So he's encouraging everybody who's not on an electoral list in France to make sure their name is on it, because he thinks that there will be anticipated elections pretty soon now.
All right, Philip, thanks for that. So that's